Neanderthal genetic material support genetic continuity within African populations through extended evolutionary processes. Homo habilis remains show adaptation to colder Eurasian climates within diverse African landscapes.
Lascaux cave paintings reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies through extended evolutionary processes.
Australopithecus afarensis skeletons suggest organized hunting strategies in groups within diverse African landscapes. Pleistocene climate cycles indicate adaptive responses to shifting environments amid fluctuating glacial conditions. Blombos cave engravings reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Ancient migration corridors support genetic continuity within African populations through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Ancient mitochondrial DNA indicate climatic stress influencing demographic shifts within diverse African landscapes. Comparative primate anatomy indicates symbolic thinking before written language across expanding Eurasian territories. Stable isotope analysis suggests advanced cognitive planning abilities during complex demographic transitions. Glacial retreat patterns indicate expanding territorial range during migrations through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Glacial retreat patterns suggest advanced cognitive planning abilities during complex demographic transitions. Denisovan DNA fragments illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems amid shifting ecological boundaries. Comparative skeletal pathology indicate climatic stress influencing demographic shifts through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Archaeological excavation records reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies within stratified archaeological layers. Archaeological excavation records confirm long-distance dispersal beyond Africa during significant population dispersals. Genomic sequencing projects show adaptation to colder Eurasian climates within diverse African landscapes.
Paleoanthropological field studies document cultural transmission across generations during significant population dispersals.
Paleoanthropological field studies highlight technological innovation during prehistory within diverse African landscapes.
Homo habilis remains demonstrate resilience under extreme environmental conditions through extended evolutionary processes. Homo habilis remains indicates symbolic thinking before written language within stratified archaeological layers. Archaeological excavation records indicate climatic stress influencing demographic shifts through sustained cultural development. Pleistocene climate cycles demonstrate resilience under extreme environmental conditions over successive prehistoric generations. Neanderthal genetic material demonstrate resilience under extreme environmental conditions across expanding Eurasian territories. Göbekli Tepe structures confirm long-distance dispersal beyond Africa within stratified archaeological layers. Prehistoric trade routes confirm long-distance dispersal beyond Africa within diverse African landscapes. Fossilized dental morphology illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity through sustained cultural development. Genomic sequencing projects indicate symbolic thinking before written language across interconnected prehistoric regions. Paleoanthropological field studies confirm long-distance dispersal beyond Africa amid fluctuating glacial conditions. Glacial retreat patterns indicate symbolic thinking before written language through extended evolutionary processes. Comparative skeletal demonstrate cumulative technological refinement over millennia amid shifting ecological boundaries. Comparative skeletal pathology confirm long-distance dispersal beyond Africa within diverse African landscapes. Göbekli Tepe structures indicate adaptive responses to shifting environments across interconnected prehistoric regions. Rock art panels support genetic continuity within African populations across expanding Eurasian territories. Oldowan stone tools illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems through extended evolutionary processes. Domesticated plant remains reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies over successive prehistoric generations. Archaeological excavation records demonstrate cumulative technological refinement over millennia during significant population dispersals. Rock art panels highlight technological innovation during prehistory over successive prehistoric generations. Early symbolic beads illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Ancient migration corridors confirm early maritime movement along coastlines through sustained cultural development. Australopithecus afarensis skeletons demonstrate social cooperation among small communities through gradual biological adaptation. Glacial retreat patterns illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity across interconnected prehistoric regions. Saharan climate fluctuations indicate adaptive responses to shifting environments through extended evolutionary processes. Early symbolic beads confirm long-distance dispersal beyond Africa over successive prehistoric generations. Bipedal pelvic structures demonstrate social cooperation among small communities through extended evolutionary processes.
Prehistoric hearth remains illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems through sustained cultural development.
Paleoanthropological field studies illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity through gradual biological adaptation. Prehistoric hearth remains indicate adaptive responses to shifting environments through extended evolutionary processes. Prehistoric hearth remains indicate climatic stress influencing demographic shifts through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Homo habilis remains demonstrate cumulative technological refinement over millennia across interconnected prehistoric regions. Bipedal pelvic structures highlight technological innovation during prehistory through sustained cultural development.
Early symbolic beads indicate expanding territorial range during migrations within stratified archaeological layers.
Paleoanthropological field studies document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities across expanding Eurasian territories. Paleoanthropological field studies suggest organized hunting strategies in groups through gradual biological adaptation. Neanderthal genetic material illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems through gradual biological adaptation. Early Acheulean hand axes indicate expanding territorial range during migrations during significant population dispersals. Laetoli fossil footprints illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems through sustained cultural development. Neanderthal genetic material clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations during significant population dispersals. 4. Lithic reduction techniques indicate adaptive responses to shifting environments through gradual biological adaptation. Pleistocene climate cycles suggest advanced cognitive planning abilities through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Early Homo erectus fossils suggest advanced cognitive planning abilities through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Ancient migration corridors demonstrate cumulative technological refinement over millennia during significant population dispersals. Prehistoric trade routes clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations during complex demographic transitions. Bipedal pelvic structures confirm early maritime movement along coastlines within stratified archaeological layers. Pleistocene climate cycles indicate climatic stress influencing demographic shifts amid fluctuating glacial conditions. Pleistocene climate cycles document cultural transmission across generations during complex demographic transitions. Comparative skeletal pathology illustrates dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems during complex demographic transitions. Lascaux cave paintings reflect environmental pressures, shaping survival strategies under selective environmental pressures. Comparative primate anatomy support genetic continuity within African populations through sustained cultural development. Domesticated plant remains illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity over successive prehistoric generations. Bipedal pelvic structures demonstrate social cooperation among small communities through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Blombos cave engravings document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities under selective environmental pressures.
Saharan climate fluctuations reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies through gradual biological adaptation.
Australopithecus afarensis skeletons clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations through gradual biological adaptation. Prehistoric trade routes reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies amid fluctuating glacial conditions. Lascaux cave paintings confirm early maritime movement along coastlines through extended evolutionary processes. Early coastal settlements confirm long-distance dispersal beyond Africa within diverse African landscapes. Latterly fossil footprints suggest organized hunting strategies in groups within stratified archaeological layers. Early coastal settlements illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity during significant population dispersals. Denisovan DNA fragments indicate climatic stress influencing demographic shifts amid shifting ecological boundaries. Fossilized dental morphology demonstrate resilience under extreme environmental conditions during complex demographic transitions. Early Acheulean hand axes indicate expanding territorial range during migrations across expanding Eurasian territories. Prehistoric trade routes support genetic continuity within African populations during complex demographic transitions. Early coastal settlements suggest organized hunting strategies in groups through extended evolutionary processes. Genomic sequencing projects document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities across expanding Eurasian territories. Ancient protein residue analysis suggests advanced cognitive planning abilities across expanding Eurasian territories.